down here and
Okay, the meeting will now come to order. This is the quarterly legislative meeting in the Citizen Potawatomi Nation Tribal Legislature. This is November the 29th, 2018, and we'll begin with our invocation. Nui Madmo, I'm going to pray. Mama Goznan Kuwa Mishnap Jaya. Grandfather God, watch over everyone. Shuan Mishnap Minehdokum Nishnap. Have pity on us and think peacefully of us. And we are asking for a good life. Thank you for everything you have created. Jesus. Thank you for giving us your son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
If we could have the roll call, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Chairman Barrett.
Koenig. Or Shoda.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Shoda.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale Shoda. Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Shoda.
Stereo.
Bailey is here as well.
You sound a little hoarse, Eva.
I think it's called dog.
Long hair's been dogging you.
Yeah, a little bit.
Representative Whistler.
Shut up.
Representative Bersall.
Shut up.
Representative Lambert.
Shoda.
Representative Payne. He's there.
He's on the phone.
No, he's not.
He's sitting there.
Oh, Randy. Oh, Mark is on the phone. I'm sorry.
Randy, can you hear us now?
Shut up.
Great. Representative Johnson.
Shut up.
Representative Dave Carney.
Shut up.
Representative Slavin.
Shut up.
Representative Wesselhoft.
Shut up.
Representative Barrett.
Shut up.
Representative Kraft.
Shoda.
Representative Spindlecoffer.
Shut up.
Representative Bowden.
Shoda.
16.
16 present. We have a quorum. If we could have the minutes of the previous meeting of September the 26th, 2018. If you could read those into the record, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Minutes of the quarterly legislative meeting, September 26, 2018. Present, Chairman Barrett, Vice Chairman Capps, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Representatives Barrett, Bersall, Bowden, Dave Carney, Eva Marie Carney, Johnson, Kraft, Lambert, Payne, Slavin, Schmidlkoffer, Wesselhoft, and Whistler. Absent was Representative Kraft. Is that correct? Okay, so you weren't present. Okay, that's a mistake. Got it. Thank you. Guests were Michael Whistler, Greg Quinlan, George Wright, and Jamie Mocha. Chairman Barrett called the meeting to order at 5:35, followed by the invocation, recessed to executive session, reconvened at 6:20. First item of business, minutes from the meeting of July 2nd, 2018. Motion to approve minutes as read was made by Representative Spindlecoffer, second by Representative Payne. Motion passed, 15 in favor, 1 absent. Second item of business, Resolution 19-13-RNG. Motion to approve Resolution 19-13-RNG was made by Eva Marie Carney, seconded by Representative Bersall. Motion passed, 15 in favor, 1 absent. Third item of business, Resolution 19-14-RNG. Motion to approve Resolution 19-14-RNG was made by Representative Slavin, seconded by Representative Lambert. Motion passed, 15 in favor, 1 absent. Fourth item of business, Resolution 19-15-RNG. Motion to approve Resolution 19-15-RNG was made by Representative Whistler, seconded by Vice Chairman Capps. Motion passed, 15 in favor, 1 absent. Fifth item of business, Resolution 19-16-APP. Motion to approve Resolution 19-16-APP was made by Representative Whistler and seconded by Representative Bowden. Motion passed, 15 in favor, 1 absent. Sixth item of business, Resolution 19-17-ED&C. Motion to approve Resolution 19-17-ED&C was made by Representative Barrett, seconded by Representative Payne. Motion passed, 15 in favor, 1 absent. Seventh item of business, Resolution 19-18-ED&C. Motion to approve Resolution 19-18-ED&C was made by Representative Wesselhoff, second by Representative Johnson. Motion passed, 15 in favor, 1 absent. Eighth item of business, Resolution 19-19-ED. Motion to approve Resolution 19-19-ED was made by Representative Spinelkopfer and seconded by Representative Wesselhoff. Motion passed, 15 in favor, 1 absent. Ninth item of business, Resolution 19-20-HHS. Motion to approve Resolution 19-20-HHS was made by Representative Barrett and seconded by Representative Whistler. Motion passed, 15 in favor, 1 absent. 10th item of business, Resolution 19-21-JNPS. Motion to approve Resolution 19-21-JNPS was made by Representative Eve Marie Carney, seconded by Representative Payne. Motion passed, 15 in favor, 1 absent. 11th item of business, Resolution 19-22-NR. Motion to approve Resolution 19-22-NR was made by Representative Dave Carney, seconded by Representative Lambert. Motion passed, 15 in favor, 1 absent. 12th item of business, Resolution 19-23-LCOE, resolution acknowledging the voluntary relinquishment of Aaliyah Myra Murphy. Motion to approve Resolution 19-23-LCOE was made by Vice Chairman Capps, seconded by Representative Bowden. Resolution passed, 15 in favor, 1 absent. 13th item of business, Resolution 19-24-LCOE. Motion to approve Resolution 19-24-LCOE was made by Representative Payne and seconded by Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Motion passed, 15 in favor, 1 absent. 14th item of business, adjournment. There being no further business before the legislature, motion to adjourn was made by Representative Spinelkopfer, seconded by Representative Barrett. Motion passed, 15 in favor, 1 absent. Meeting adjourned, 7:50 p.m.
Are there any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as read.
So moved.
Motion made by Representative Spinelkopfer. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Representative Whistler. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Koenig,
Vice Chairman Capps,
Koenig,
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Koenig, Representative Eve Marie Carney,
Koenig,
Representative Whistler,
Conagay.
Representative Bersall,
Conagay.
Representative Lambert,
Koenig,
Representative Payne,
Conagay.
Representative Johnson,
Koenig,
Representative Dave Carney,
Conagay.
Representative Slavin,
Conagay.
Representative Wesselhoff,
Conagay.
Representative Barrett,
Conagay.
Representative Kraft,
Koenig,
Representative Spittelkoffer,
Conagay.
Representative Bowden,
Koenig,
16 in favor, 0 opposed.
16 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Next item on the agenda is minutes of November the 2nd, minutes of October the 12th, 2018. You could read those into the record, please.
Minutes of the electronic legislative meeting, October 12th, 2018. Present, Chairman Barrett, Vice Chairman Capps, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Representatives David Barrett, Bersall, Bowden, Dave Carney, Eva Marie Carney, Johnson, Kraft, Lambert, Payne, Schmidlkoffer, Slavin, Whistler, Wesselhoff. None were absent. Chairman Barrett called the meeting to order at 11:50 a.m. First item of business, Resolution 19-25-APP. Motion to approve Resolution 19-25-APP was made by Vice Chairman Capps, seconded by Representative Bersall. Motion passed, 16 in favor, 0 opposed. Second item of business, adjournment. There being no further business before the legislature, motion to adjourn was made by Representative Johnson, seconded by Representative Barrett. Motion passed, 16 in favor, 0 opposed. Meeting adjourned at 6:10 p.m. October 12th, 2018.
Are there any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as read. Motion by Representative Slavin. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Representative Bersall. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Koenig,
Vice Chairman Capps,
Koenig,
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Koenig, Representative Eva Marie Carney,
Koenig,
Representative Whistler,
Conagay.
Representative Bersall,
Conagay.
Representative Lambert,
Koenig,
Representative Payne,
Conagay.
Representative Johnson,
Koenig,
Representative Dave Carney,
Conagay.
Representative Slavin,
Conagay.
Representative Wesselhoft,
Conagay.
Representative Barrett,
Conagay.
Representative Kraft,
Konigay.
Representative Smittelkofer,
Conagay.
Representative Bowden.
Konigay.
16 in favor, 0 opposed.
16 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Next item is approval of the electronic minutes of the electronic legislative meeting of November the 2nd, 2018. Could you read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale?
Minutes of the electronic legislative meeting, November 2nd, 2018. Present, Chairman Barrett, Vice Chairman Capps, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Representatives Barrett, Bersall, Bowden, Dave Carney, Eva Marie Carney, Johnson, Kraft, Lambert, Payne, Schmidlkoffer, Slavin, Whistler, Wesselhoft. None were absent. Chairman Barrett called a meeting to order at 11:50 a.m. First item of business, motion to approve Resolution 19-26-E, D, and C was made by Chairman Barrett, seconded by Representative Wesselhoff. Motion passed 16 in favor, 0 opposed. Second item of business, adjournment. There being no further business before the legislature. Motion to adjourn was made by Representative Payne, seconded by Representative Schmidlkoffer. Motion passed 16 in favor, 0 opposed. Meeting adjourned 5:25 p.m., November 2nd, 2018.
Actually, first item of business. Are you ready? Is any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as read. Most Representative Schmidlkoffer, seconded by Representative Eva Marie Carney. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Konagay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Konigay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Conagay, Representative Eva Marie Carney,
Konigay.
Representative Whistler, Representative Bersall,
Conagay.
Representative Lambert,
Konigay.
Representative Payne,
Conagay.
Representative Johnson,
Conagay.
Representative Dave Carney,
Conagay.
Representative Slavin,
Conagay.
Representative Wesselhoft,
Conagay.
Representative Barrett,
Conagay.
Representative Kraft,
Konigay.
Representative Schmidlkoffer,
Conagay.
Representative Bowden.
Konigay.
16 in favor, 0 opposed.
16 in favor, 0 opposed. They are approved. Next is Resolution 1927, Natural Resources. You could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 19-27-NR, a resolution approving the System Potawatomi Nation's grant application for funding under the United States Bureau of Indian Affairs fiscal year 2019 invasive species program. Whereas the System Potawatomi Nation is a federally recognized tribe of American Indians with constitutional authority under the Act of June 18, 1934, and the Oklahoma Indian Welfare Act of June 26, 1936. And whereas the System Potawatomi Nation has sovereign powers that are inherent in tribal tradition, derived from a history of organized self-government since time immemorial, and recognized by treaties with the United States and in the Constitution of the United States. And whereas Article 4, Section 3 of the System Potawatomi Nation Constitution provides for a separation of powers of the tribal government by the reservation and delegation of specific powers to other entities of the tribal government, and except for these specific limitations, all other general powers of government are embodied in the legislature's authority to enact legislation, transact business, and otherwise speak and act on behalf of the System Potawatomi Nation in all matters on which the nation is empowered to act now or in the future. And whereas the Bureau of Indian Affairs is accepting funding requests under the fiscal year 2019 invasive species program, which aims to support tribal efforts to research, evaluate, and address the impacts of invasive fish, wildlife, and plant species that impact tribal lands and trust resources. And whereas the System Potawatomi Nation tribal lands and allotments currently have problems with invasive eastern red cedar and Scotch thistle, which require focused efforts for eradication and damage mitigation. Whereas the System Potawatomi Nation proposes submitting an application to fund a coordinated effort to continue eradication of the eastern red cedar and Scotch thistle on Citizen Potawatomi Nation tribal lands and allotments. And whereas the cost of the proposed invasive species eradication project will not exceed $300,000 with no match required. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the legislature of the System Potawatomi Nation that a resolution authorizing and supporting the System Potawatomi Nation's BIA invasive species program application for funding under the fiscal year 2019 entitled Invasive Species Eradication is hereby approved. Now therefore be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded, an appropriation of federal funds up to $300,000 from the fiscal year 2019 Invasive Species Project Fund for implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
Are there any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion of this resolution as amended? Chair would entertain a motion. Motion made by Representative Bowden, seconded by Representative Barrett. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Koenig.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Koenig.
Secretary Treasurer Trouser Koenig. Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Koenig.
Representative Whistler.
Koenig.
Representative Bursall.
Koenig.
Representative Lambert.
Koenig.
Representative Payne.
Koenig.
Representative Johnson.
Koenig.
Representative Dave Carney.
Koenig.
Representative Slavin.
Koenig.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Koenig.
Representative Barrett.
Koenig.
Representative Kraft.
Koenig.
Representative Smittelkoffer.
Koenig.
Representative Bowden.
Koenig.
16 in favor, 0 opposed.
16 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Next is Resolution 1928, HHS. Would you read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale?
Resolution 19-28-HHS, a resolution of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation Tribal Legislature in support of federal legislation ensuring Medicaid's fulfillment of federal trust responsibility to American Indians, Alaska Natives. First three whereas are the same as read in previous resolution. The fourth whereas, the Citizen Potawatomi Nation represents all federally recognized American Indian and Alaska Native self-governance tribal governments in the Oklahoma City area by advocating for the provision of quality health care to AI/ANS, as well as upholding the federal government's trust responsibility to provide health care to all AI/AN tribal governments. And whereas tribes have a unique government-to-government relationship with the federal government, and it is required that the federal government consult with tribes on any policy or action that will significantly impact tribal governments. And whereas tribal nations are political sovereign entities whose status stems from the inherent sovereignty they possess as self-governing people, predating the founding of the United States, and since its founding, the United States has recognized them as such and entered into treaties with them on that basis. And whereas Executive Order 13175 sets forth clear definitions and frameworks for consultation, policymaking, and accountability to ensure that consultation with Indian tribes is meaningful. And whereas in 24 USC 1602 A1, Congress declared that it is the policy of this nation in fulfillment of its special trust responsibilities and legal obligation to Indians to ensure the highest possible health status for Indians and urban Indians, and to provide all resources necessary to effect that policy. And whereas in 1955, Congress created the Indian Health Service, IHS, in order to help fulfill its trust responsibility for health care to tribes, and whereas the unmet health needs of AI/AN are severe and the health status of AI/ANs is far below that of the general population of the United States, resulting in an average life expectancy for AI/ANs 4.5 years less than that for United States all races population. And whereas in 1976, Congress noted that Medicaid payments were a needed supplement to a health care program, which has far too long been insufficient to provide quality health care to the American Indian. And whereas in 1976, Congress established the authority for the IHS tribal nations and tribal health organizations to seek reimbursement under the federal Medicaid program in order to help fulfill its trust responsibility for health care to the tribes. And whereas in fiscal year 2017, the congressional appropriations for IHS was only $3,026 per person, as compared to an average per capita spending nationally for personal health care services of $9,207. And whereas the IHS continues to be funded by Congress at less than half of expected need, even when considering available government health insurance resources, leading to rationed care and worse health outcomes for AI/ANs. And whereas the federal Medicaid program generates significant resources that are critical to the ability of tribal nations to meet the healthcare needs of tribal citizens, but there are significant gaps in access to quality health care services under the federal Medicaid program for low and moderate income AI/ANs, depending upon state and residents. And whereas AI/ANs across the United States and have substantially different eligibility and access to services under the federal Medicaid program based on their state and of residence, and whereas state governments are not reimbursed for the cost of care provided by urban Indian healthcare providers to AIANs, to the same degree that state governments are reimbursed for care to AIANs provided by IHS and tribal healthcare providers. And whereas the federal Medicaid program provides insufficient flexibility to tribes to design and implement healthcare service delivery approaches that meet the oftentimes unique circumstances in Indian country. And whereas tribal nations have developed a legislative proposal to address these gaps in access to quality health care services, which will create authority for states to extend Medicaid eligibility to all AIANs with household income up to 138% of the federal poverty level. Authorize Indian healthcare providers in all states to receive Medicaid reimbursements for healthcare services authorized under the Indian Healthcare Improvement Act and deliver to AIANs, extend full federal funding through 100% FMAP to states for Medicaid services furnished by urban Indian providers to AIANs, in addition to services furnished by IHS tribal providers to IANs. Clarify that state Medicaid programs are authorized to implement Indian-specific policies and are not permitted to override Indian-specific Medicaid provisions in federal law through state waivers, and removes the limitation on billing by Indian health care providers for services provided outside the four walls of a clinic facility. And whereas these provisions, if enacted, will improve access to quality health care services for AIANs across all states, and thereby advance the federal government's trust responsibility to AIANs and tribal governments. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the legislature of the Sisseton-Pauly Nation that a resolution authorizing the Sisseton-Pauly Nation's support of the enactment of legislation to ensure Medicaid advances the federal government's trust responsibility to AIAN tribal governments is hereby approved.
Are there any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion?
Chairman, I do have a question.
Representative Whistler?
I like the way this is written. My question, though, is how are we going to get the federal government to make this change based upon just our one nation making this request? Are we working with other nations on this?
Yes, this template came from the
Come from the National
cooperative
Congress?
associations nationally that the
Okay.
tribe is involved in. This
NCAI.
the National
It
Congress
Did
of
come from
American
NCAI.
Indians.
Okay.
I believe in addition to NCAI, I believe there were some of the other cooperative programs that advise the Indian Health Service also it had some input into this.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read.
Motion.
Motion made by Representative Whistler. Is there a second?
Second.
By Vice Chairman Linda Capps. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Honegay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Conagay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Honegay, Representative Eva Marie Carney,
Honegay. Honegay.
thank you. Representative Whistler,
Okay.
Representative Bersall,
Conagay.
Representative Lambert,
Conagay.
Representative Payne,
Conagay.
Representative Johnson, Representative Johnson,
Lost him.
Yeah, Mr. Johnson just dropped. I'm sure he'll call back.
okay, thank you. Representative Dave Carney,
Conagay.
Representative Slavin,
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Konigay.
Representative Barrett.
Konigay.
Representative Kraft.
Konigay.
Representative Spindlecoffer.
Konigay.
Representative Bowden.
Konigay.
Representative Johnson, are you back yet? Taking all his vote. Can you tell what he votes back in?
Let's go ahead.
Okay.
Call that,
At 15 in favor, 1 absent until Representative Johnson.
Konigay for Mark.
There we go.
Oh, thank you. 16 in favor, 0 opposed.
16 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Next is Resolution 1929, Legislative Committee on Enrollment. If you could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 19-29-LCOE, first 3 whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. Fourth whereas, the following people have requested enrollment in the tribe and meet requirements for membership as set forth in Article 3 of the Constitution of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. Brett Eugene Thompson, Evelyn Rose Johnson, Callie Ray Howell, Elizabeth Eden Capiti, Allison Francis Shaw, Benjamin Thomas Cooper, Charles Kenneth O'Neill, J.C. Lou Heffley, Zachary Robert Hurst, Samuel Terrence Hurst, Kyler June Holmes, Ella Michelle Johnson, Kaylee Elizabeth Johnson, Brody Allen Johnson, Luke Bailey Johnson, Samuel Wayne Bigby, Zachary Randall Bigby, Ari Emma Bolt, Sarah Tissa Bolt, Aspen Rianne Sarah Lafarge, Montgomery.
Capital L's.
You're not Elton. Montgomery Lee Nash, David Christian Alexander Parker, Canaan Levi Bennett Parker, Nevaeh Ray Gutierrez, Maximus Logan Crisp,
No, wait, it's Nevaeh Louise Horton.
Nevaeh Louise Horton, Adriel Ray Gutierrez, Maximus Logan Crisp, Haverly Dawn Anderson, Braden Jacob LeClaire, Kennedy Joe Lewis, Micah Ezekiel Davidson,
Which one of these is Bell's dog?
Ezra Nehemiah Davidson, Ada Marie Davidson, Coulter Braden Rod, Kinley Lane Rod, Colby Elizabeth Rod, Chris Allen Ayers, Abigail Victoria Alderson, Lucille Cecilia Alderson, Sydney Madison Main, Tegan Olivia Main, Ronan Cecil Wilson, Axel Chad Brewer, Viola Federia Treadway, Elena June Ta, Casey Paul Hardcastle, Stephanie Lynn Cobb, Liliana Luann Jones, Deanna Beth Tilley, Nanamwis Lumino Corey, Kason Lee Finley, Mason James Thompson, Stetson Wade Backhouse, Waylon Harrett Backhouse, Tyler Bradley Dunahay, Bryce Jackson Dunahay, Jerry Akeisha Wilkerson, Sarah Elizabeth Becker, Julia Page Romines, Elijah John Richardson, Carter Knox Richardson, Emily Donnay White, Zachary Isaac White, Ethan Michael Stone, Ely Ray Reynolds, Sawyer Luis Yacht, Emma Victoria Rose Rogers, Maya Grace Elizabeth Rogers, Joseph Robert Rogers Rogers, Barbara Suzanne Lewis, Kelsey Aurora Phelps, Cody Michael Phelps, Benjamin Thomas Peck, Rook Robert Bosma, Arthur Ian Travis, Lily Bell Travis, Mackenzie Austin Field, Kobe Stephen Lawson, Ronan James Hanson, Jennifer Nicole Harris, Marley Marie Harris, Reese Whitney Cunningham, Gunnar Douglas Cunningham, Ace Major Cunningham, Catherine Hanley Sniffen, Emmeline Nemosin Sniffen, Joshua Stanley Sniffen, Benjamin Pascal Sniffen, Eden Zanya Elizabeth Henderson, Shelley Marie Gardner, Morgan Sage Yanez, Mason Javier Martinez, Ashley Elizabeth Duncan, Riley Nicole Armstrong, Reagan Renee Armstrong, Jack Ryan Armstrong, Madeline Ann McCauley, Hayes Oliver McCarty, Kinley Noel Bush, Mackenzie Lynn Hall, Dwayne Allen Jump, Riley Mae Burns, Martha Ann Jensen, Evelyn Grace Riley, Cashley Dowdy, Michelle Renee Calderon, Liam Eugene Bell, Emilia Elise McManus, Owen Matthew McManus, Aiden Allen McManus, Isabella Mae McManus, Nicholas Dewey Barshaw, River Austin Clark Peters, Jacqueline Bordoli, Teresa Marie Hall, Anna Selins Campbell, Asher Leo Ruman, Ben McGee Peterson, Carter Jude Flood, Rachel Nicole Cartwright, William Matthew Weaver, Adrian Dean Carmichael, Samuel James Fundero, Sophia Janae Fundero, Alexander Cade Estep, Maya Teray Estep, James Winford Ritchie, Felicia Marie Sanders, Zoe Dawn Wamigo King, Hunter Anthony Wamigo King. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution enrolling the above named persons as members of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation who have, by virtue of their written request for enrollment, agreed to the obligations of such membership and consented to the authority and jurisdiction of the government of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation and are now entitled to all benefits and privileges of the citizenship in the Citizen Potawatomi Nation as described by law and tribal custom is hereby approved.
Are there any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion? I believe that one of the children that was approved here was Jennifer Bell's new child. And we had one name where they repeated the last name. Rogers. That most likely is a typo.
Joseph Robert Rogers.
Joseph Robert Rogers.
Third, I believe.
On the third page, about 2/3 of the way down.
That's not the one here because he isn't bail now.
Are there any other additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the, yes? I'm sorry. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as amended. Motion made by Representative Payne, seconded by Representative Dave Carney. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Konigay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Konigay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Konigay, Representative Eva Marie Carney,
Konigay.
Representative Whistler,
Konigay.
Representative Bersall,
Konigay.
Representative Lambert,
Konigay.
Representative Payne,
Konigay.
Representative Johnson,
Konigay.
Representative Dave Carney,
Konigay.
Representative Slavin,
Konigay.
Representative Westhoff, Representative Barrett, Representative Kraft,
Konigay.
Representative Schmidelkoffer,
Konigay.
Representative Bowden,
Konigay.
16 in favor, 0 opposed.
16 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Next is resolution 1930 ED and C. Read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 19-30-ED and C, a resolution authorizing the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's proposed application for funding through the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development under the fiscal year 2018 Indian Community Development Block Grant Program. First three whereas are the same as read in previous resolution. The fourth whereas, the United States of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, is soliciting grant applications of up to $800,000 through the fiscal year 2018 Indian Community Development Block Grant, ICDBG program. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation is proposing the construction of the CPN Community Development Corporation's Community Development Financial Institution Office, an 11,000 square foot public facility building in Shawnee, Oklahoma. And whereas a public meeting notice was published and a meeting was held on May 24, 2018 to solicit comments from tribal and community members regarding the proposed submission of this public facility development project pursuant to citizen participation requirement as set forth in 24 CFR 1003.604. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation has adopted an operations and maintenance plan for the planned CPN Community Development Corporation's Community Development Financial Institutions public facility, and by approval of this resolution commits to pay associated costs from an allocation of tribal funds. Annual costs to satisfy the operations and maintenance plan requirements for this public facility are projected at $121,338. Whereas the project period for the proposed Community Development Corporation facility under the Public Facilities Program is 5 years, with a total project cost of $1,075,000, of which $800,000 or 75% is a federal share, and $275,000 or 25.58% is tribal leverage, which is firmly committed by Citizen Potawatomi Nation. And now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting and approving the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's Citizen Potawatomi Community Development Corporation's proposed public facility application for funding through the 2018 ICDBG program is hereby approved. Now therefore be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded, an appropriation of $1,075,000 from the fiscal year 2018 ICDBG fund and other applicable accounts for the implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman of his designate is hereby authorized.
This is in addition to the branch bank that First National Bank used to have next door to the tribal complex. It will now be the home of the Community Development Corporation and will be a federal credit union, in addition to being the home of the CDC. This is to accommodate the additional staff and space that's required for those two functions. Does anybody have any additions to Representative Carney?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I'm just interested as to whether or not we have a commitment, if we take this money, to exclusively house the CDC in this facility, or is this something that after a period of time we just own and can do with what we want?
After 5 years, we can do what we want, but we do want to house the CDC there because they've outgrown their space in the First National Bank building in Shawnee, and they're kind of sitting on top of each other over there.
Okay. I ask only because I know that flexibility is the byword of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation.
Yes, ma'am. Any other discussion? Representative Bursall?
Are we talking fiscal year 2018 or 2019?
19.
It says 2018 throughout the resolution.
Yeah, I don't know if that's correct or not.
It's for 18 funding.
It is for 18.
It's for 18 funding. We're getting some year-end money.
Okay.
I think they drug their feet on the block grants for a while. Any other questions? Chair would entertain a resolution, a motion to approve the resolution as read.
So moved.
Motion made by Representative Wesselhoff. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Representative Kraft. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Koenig.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Sonegay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Koenig, Representative Eva Marie Carney,
Honegay.
Representative Whistler,
Carnegie.
Representative Bersall,
Carnegie.
Representative Lambert,
Honegay.
Representative Payne,
Carnegie.
Representative Johnson, Representative Dave Carney, Representative Slavin,
Carnegie.
Representative Wesselhoft,
Carnegie.
Representative Barrett,
Carnegie.
Representative Kraft, Representative Spittelkoffer,
Carnegie.
Representative Bowden,
Carnegie.
16 in favor, 0 opposed.
In favor, 0 opposed, it is approved. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 1931, Natural Resources. If you could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 19-31-NR, a resolution approving and supporting the Citizen Potawatomi Nations grant application for funding under the United States Department of Energy's fiscal year 2018 Energy Infrastructure Development on Tribal Lands funding. First three whereas are the same as read in previous resolution. The fourth whereas, financial assistance is available from the Department of Energy to allow the Citizen Potawatomi Nation to deploy community-scale energy generating systems on tribal lands. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's project will network up to 4 megawatts of distributed generation powered by natural gas in order to offset rise in energy costs, taking steps towards energy independence. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's proposed project will take place across approximately 377 acres of CPN trust land, both the generation site and the tribal facilities to be served, which include CPN Tribal Headquarters, CPN Child Development Center, Fire Lake Discount Foods, Fire Lake Entertainment Center, CPN Cultural Heritage Center, Fire Lake Arena, Fire Lake Bowl, and North and South Reunion Halls, comprising a total of 360,145 square feet are in trust. And whereas DOE requires a 50% cost share of total project cost, the total project cost of $2,090,151 over a 2-year period, of which $1 million is the federal share and $1,090,151 is the non-federal share. Cost share via cash and in-kind services includes, but is not limited to, equipment, installation, personnel, oversight of negotiation and purchases. And whereas cost share provided by CPN for this project includes $149,344 in salary and fringe, $300,000 in equipment purchase cost, and $640,807 tribal contribution to facilities, electrical and mechanical costs for a combined value of $1,090,151. Whereas CPN believes the expansion of tribal sovereignty through energy independence and commits to this project. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution authorizing and supporting the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's Department of Energy application for fiscal year 2018 energy infrastructure deployment on tribal lands funding is hereby approved. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded, an appropriation of federal funds up to $1 million from the fiscal year 2018 DOE Energy Infrastructure Deployment on Tribal Lands Fund, and a cost share of up to $1,090,151 for the implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
The cost of these facilities will be offset by the demand charge that is currently on our electrical bills of some 6 cents a kilowatt for the anticipated demand that we might have. And we are billed by the utilities for power that we might use or capacity that we might need. And this will allow us to deduct that portion of the demand charges from our bill, which will go towards recouping the cost of these generators. We now only have 2 meg on the generator generation loop for all of the tribal buildings, clear up to the clinic from the arena and from the ballparks. And we are in need of additional capacity that will both serve us in the times when we have power outages and will offset the demand charges on our bill. So we'll recoup this at about double the rate that we're charged for electricity from OG&E. Are there any questions, discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to tie into an existing energy source, natural gas. Is that from OG&E?
No, these generators will be powered by natural gas that we're going to negotiate from, hopefully from Oklahoma Natural Gas Company as a last resort. But Larry Briggs and I are going down to meet with oil and gas producer in Seminole tomorrow about buying wellhead gas from him and taking a location differential from the gas he's putting in the line and buying that capacity back up here. So we're going to see if we can't buy gas at the wellhead to exchange for gas into these engines. But most likely, since they'll only run in the event of outages, most likely we'll end up tied to ONG or to one of the other gas sources. We have a couple of large lines that are close to us here. So problem is the gate, what they call the gate to get into those lines is about $400,000 on the big lines. So we would have to put in a whole lot more generation if we're successful in getting Linglong Tire Company in China to move here, which we are very close to that. We have about an 80% chance of that happening or better. If we get an opportunity to furnish the 40 megawatts of power that Linglong will use to make tires, then we'll make an independent gas contract and we'll install most likely turbines and secondary heat recovery steam systems and try to generate at least 40 megawatts. We can recoup that. Linglong will probably pay somewhere in the 6-cent level. We should be able to produce it somewhere around the 4-cent level. So at 2 cents a kilowatt hour against 40 meg, that's going to probably recoup us in 4 years, maybe 5.
Chairman, on those existing gas lines, aren't they the ones that north of the interstate? Or where is the natural?
Well, there's an empty line that runs right across the golf course. That's run by Cimarron that goes down to Cromwell. And we're meeting with the producer in the Seminole Cromwell area tomorrow to see if he can negotiate to reactivate that line that would put gas directly from those wells down there to up here. We'd set a scrubber down there and make sure we knock the liquids out. But that gas down there is probably going to be, regular line gas is 1,000 to 1,100 BTU gas. That gas down there is probably 1,300 BTUs. So we'd have to do a little air mixing or knock propane out of it. But we could, right now, wellhead gas is, the people who produce wellhead gas below pipeline pressure are being charged for compression more than the value of the gas. And so we can probably pick up the gas at a pretty good price since they're losing money on it now. Any other discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
I moved.
Motion made by Representative Bowden.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Wesselhoff. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Honegay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Carnegie.
Secretary Treasurer Trouser, Honegay, Representative Eve Marie Carney,
Okay.
Representative Whistler,
Okay.
Representative Bersall,
Carnegie.
Representative Lambert,
Carnegie.
Representative Payne,
Carnegie.
Representative Johnson,
Carnegie.
Representative Dave Carney,
Carnegie.
Representative Slavin,
Carnegie.
Representative Wesselhoff, Representative Barrett,
Conagay.
Representative Kraft,
Koenigan.
Representative Spittelkofer,
Conagay.
Representative Bowden.
Koenigan.
16 in favor, 0 opposed.
16 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Is there any other business before the legislature? Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made by Representative Spittelkofer. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Representative David Barrett. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Koenig.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Koenig.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Koenig, Representative Eva Marie Carney,
Conagay.
Representative Whistler,
Okay.
Representative Bursall,
Conagay.
Representative Lambert,
Koenig.
Representative Payne,
Conagay.
Representative Johnson, Representative Dave Carney, Representative Slavin,
Just an art.
Representative Wesselhoff,
Koenigan.
Representative Barrett,
I
Conagay.
wish it was.
Representative Kraft,
Koenigan.
Representative Spittelkofer,
Conagay.
Wow.
Representative Bowden.
Koenigan.
16 in favor, 0 opposed.
16 in favor, 0 opposed. We are adjourned.
Hey, we set a record tonight.